All right, guys, it's time. It's time for the check-in, presented by Allstate. Today, we're checking in on my beloved Washington Commanders and our franchise quarterback, Jayden Daniels, who has, we finally punted. That sucks. But it was a dominant performance in a revenge game for Cliff Kingsbury against Kyler Murray, who was also having a revenge game against Cliff Kingsbury, the double revenge game against each other. Commanders won 42-14. 40 burger on the board. Unstoppable offense. Punted for the first time in a fortnight. Are we sure the Commanders can't win the NFC East? You sure about that?
Let's not get carried.
It's our check-in.
It's hilarious, Bill, to be around Charlie right now because I've only known Charlie since he had little to no faith in his Commanders team. Since over the 3 different names that they've had since I've met Charlie, we would watch games together and they'd be up by 10 points going into the fourth quarter, and he's like, they're gonna blow it. Inevitably, they would blow it. Now they're playing in games and Charlie's excited and expects them to win. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. It's all Jayden Daniels. He's changed the person that I host the show with. I don't even know this man.
We got him. We got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Charlie was on the UT message boards grinding Arch Manning's burner Instagram 3 weeks ago, and now he's like, remember when Robert Griffin had that great first year and he got married at the end of the year, and there was like a thing in the newspaper about how people were sending him gifts for his wedding, and like 2 years later they wanted him out of town. I feel like we're already in the sending Jayden Daniels gift for his wedding element of Washington falling in love with their quarterback.
Whatever you need, Jayden. I mean, the question, look, the only remaining, as we're putting the cart in front of the horse here, we should talk about this game a little bit, but it's about, the questions are always about durability with him because he was taking so many shots at the beginning of the season, now protecting himself, and he's still like, it's crazy seeing him on an NFL field, how skinny he looks, and that's concerning, but I mean, his performance in week 3, almost impossible to repeat. That was like a perfect game, but to come out this week and move the ball so effectively, even if it's against a Cardinals defense that is not elite, I think it's fair to say, non-elite defense. I mean, he looked excellent again, and the running game is incredible around him because of the threat that he has. He's willing to drive the ball downfield, and he's made Cliff's horizontal air raid work. He spread the ball out.
You talking about the only question is, can he stay healthy? That's incredible. Because that means that, to you, all the other questions have been answered, which actually are the harder
he's
questions.
Good at football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which people don't, you know how this works. People are still debating whether you should re-sign veteran quarterbacks that have been the Pro Bowl year after year. So, it takes a long time to get to a point where, shut up, Bill. It takes a long time to get to a point where people believe in their quarterback. You're 4 weeks in, and you already know that you got the guy. What's so funny, Bill?
Just being told to shut up. I love that. That's why I love to be on the show as a guest.
That's on a podcast.
No, you're right.
Shut up
you're
on
right,
my podcast.
No, because he was making faces and I knew what he was thinking and I didn't like it.
You didn't hear what I said, did you?
No.
I did.
No, I said Pro Bowl was like Tyler Huntley starting.
Yeah, that's my bad. Snoop.
No, you're right. You're right, though. I mean, it speaks to how quickly this is turned around. And that is a rare thing. I mean, we did not see this very often with rookie quarterbacks. And the one guy we saw this with very recently that comes to mind for me is CJ Stroud, where with CJ Stroud, week 1, he was bad against the not bad, but he wasn't anything special against the Ravens. And by like week 5, we were like, oh no, they are good. And then they won the division. And that would have seemed incredibly shocking this time a year ago. And by the end of the year, seemed totally natural and normal. I don't think we can rule out that possibility by any means. I think they're absolutely in the race. There's no reason to think the Cowboys are a great football team. They just lost Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence for the next month. Their defense was not good with those guys on the field. Their offense, no disrespect to our beloved Dak Prescott, but offense does not look good so far. They can't run the football. The Giants are bad. The Eagles, we just talked about how messy they are. Like, the Commanders have been the best team in this division through 4 games. And Charlie, the thing you mentioned about Jayden Daniels is his need to stay healthy. Of course, he has to protect himself. We've seen him slide a little bit more, but what's important to me is contrast him to someone like Anthony Richardson, where Anthony Richardson got hurt today in that Colts game, injured his hip. Thankfully, seems like a minor injury, But with Anthony Richardson, I don't think he can succeed right now as an NFL quarterback consistently without the threat of the quarterback run game. Like, he has to be involved between the tackles as a runner to get that offense to work. Jayden Daniels, yes, they have him running a little bit, but a lot of what he's running is stuff where he's protected. He has a lead blocker. He has the ability to get outside, go out of bounds. He's scrambling. Like, yes, he's running some design quarterback runs where he's taking hits near the goal line, but he's thriving as a pure passer. He does not need that stuff to work. It's going to helps any quarterback who can pull it off, but he's thriving strictly as a quarterback, and that other stuff is gravy. And that is, to me, the big difference here, because if they just decide in week 10, hey, you've taken too many hits, we're not running you anymore, like, it's going to be, one or two times the rest of the year, and that's it, only when we absolutely need it, he'll be fine. That's because he's so impressive as a pure quarterback, as a pure thrower in the pocket.
No, it's stark. He's so much more developed than we realize. I mean, I think we can all agree our draft takes would be a lot better if we got to see 4 games of NFL football before giving them.
Okay. That's actually that's a good point, though. Now, we've seen 4 games of Caleb Williams.
We're getting there for sure.
Hold on, before we get there,
okay,
you guys don't want to apply any context to this that you apply to most of the other conversations, though, like about the defenses that.
Oh, no, definitely.
Oh no, about the defenses that he's going up against.
No, there's huge parts of that. That's the Cardinals' defense is terrible,
and so is the Bengals.
Yeah. I mean, the Bengals, yeah. I mean, and the Commanders' offense though has been really excellent. Like, EPA per play, they're even ahead of the Bills. They're the best offense by EPA in the league, and they have the worst defensive EPA in the league. Like, historically bad secondary. Like, they're through the first 3 weeks, they only forced 3 punts as well. So it's like, yeah, there's definitely context. But if we get to the Caleb Williams part about it, like, he was supposed to have the best situation ever for a first overall pick quarterback, and they've played the Colts and Rams defenses, and he has barely flashed, if you could even say that, against those teams. And so, like, of course, who you play matters, but how you play also is a huge factor of it.
But I want to ask you, based on these 4 games and everything else you knew about them before the draft, I feel like, I can't speak to you guys. I felt like most of the people I spoke to, at least what I thought about as someone who knows nothing about the draft, felt pretty comfortable saying Caleb Williams should be the first overall pick, Jayden Daniels should be the second overall pick. Are you comfortable, having seen enough from the first 4 weeks, to flip that, where you feel like there's a significantly better chance Jayden Daniels turns out to be a better pro quarterback than Caleb Williams?
I mean, it's impossible not to, given what we've seen so far. We haven't seen quality. We haven't even seen one thing that I thought we would definitely see is more big play splashes. I thought worst case scenario for Caleb was he'd be sloppy but exciting, like how we used to talk about Josh Allen. It's like, all right, he's going to give them the ball because he's going to try to do some stuff that no one else is trying to do, but every now and then those things are going to work. Like, we haven't even gotten that from Caleb. And the thing about the best situation it's been turned on his head, because we all fell in love with what was happening in Chicago, when got to protect your quarterback. You got to be able to run the ball. These are things that make life easier for a quarterback, no matter how many great weapons they have out on the outside, and they haven't been able to protect him or support him with the running game. These are things that Jayden Daniels is getting. He is getting protection, and they do have a good running game. They don't have much of a defense, but slightly different.
I'm gonna give you some analytics for this, some PFF grades and EPA grades through the first 3 weeks.
PFF grades, I don't know if it qualifies as analytics.
Charlie just went to ChatGPT and it was like, give me every Jayden Daniels stat you have.
This is a Caleb Williams stat.
Okay.
Okay.
But through the first 3 weeks of his career, when you do the cross section of EPA per play and his PFF offensive grade, this is from Kevin Cole. His stats are in line with Bryce Young last year, Trevor Lawrence under Urban Meyer, Matt Stafford on those really, really dysfunctional Lions teams, Davis Mills, Brandon Whedon, Jameis Winston, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson. Those are the people in his phylum of quarterback through 3 weeks. And so, yeah, it's a small sample, of course. But those guys, I think we would all say, were in worse situations that Caleb was dropped into. Shane Waldron's probably not a good offensive coordinator, but we were saying the same things about Cliff Kingsbury before the season. Sure. If you were to say it now, I think it would be impossible not to say that currently, if you're looking at it, Jayden Daniels is a significant step up as a prospect from Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I agree. Bill?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right.
Argument 1.
We aren't arguing. There was no argument happening. We were having a conversation.
That's right.
Charlie's just claiming dubs wherever he can get them.
Yeah.
The Commanders win 3 games in a row, and Charlie is just walking around town, just gets on the metro and shows up. He's like, "Oh, just dub for Charlie."
You should see my you know when you go to an iPhone, you can like if you go to the GIF thing, you can look at your most recent search GIFs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's all different "we got him" GIFs. it's the Drewski. We fucking got him. It's the ladies and gentlemen, we got him.